Have you ever felt like you're just stuck in a loop? Trying to break a bad habit, but you fail, and then you try again and fail again? Well, if that sounds familiar, this explainer might just change everything for you. We're going to look at a totally different way to think about this, and it's based on a surprisingly simple idea.
So let's just start with the big question, right? Why does it feel like a losing battle when we try to fight a bad habit? It seems like the harder you push against your own worst impulses, the harder they push back. You make up your mind you're going to stop, you give it everything you've got, and somehow you end up right back where you started. It's exhausting.
And this quote from our source material, wow, it just nails the whole problem. When all of your energy goes into not doing something, you're actually keeping that negative thing front and center in your mind. And as this writer found out, that intense focus can, ironically, make everything so much worse.
Yeah, we can call this the sinless trap. It's this nasty cycle, We aim for this impossible standard of being perfect, and then, because we're human, we mess up. And when we do, we just dive into this spiral of self-criticism and shame. It's a system that's almost designed for us to fail.
This whole old way of doing things, it feels like you're constantly fighting an uphill battle in the mud, doesn't it? You're always on defense, trying to fight off temptation, trying to be perfect, and the second you slip, that inner voice just tears you down, making you feel worthless. The real kicker here is that your focus stays locked on the bad stuff, which only gives it more and more power.
Okay, so if that's the problem, what in the world is the solution? Well, this is where things get really interesting. We're about to pivot to a radical reframing, a counterintuitive truth that flips the whole game on its head. The goal isn't to fight harder, it's about fighting smarter, by completely changing the battlefield.
So here's the shift in a nutshell. The old way is all about subtraction, trying to cut out the bad stuff. But the new way, it's all about addition. Instead of obsessing over breaking bad habits, you shift your focus to building good ones. Your goal isn't do less bad anymore, it's do more good. All that energy you spent fighting, you now spend cultivating. And that creates positive momentum instead of that awful cycle of shame.
This piece of ancient wisdom is really the heart of the entire strategy. And it's such a profound shift in thinking, right? You don't beat a negative force by getting in a wrestling match with it. You overcome it by bringing in a stronger positive force that just makes it irrelevant.
So how does this actually work? It's something called the crowding out principle. Think about your life like it's a garden. Instead of spending all your time and energy desperately pulling out weeds, you focus on planting beautiful flowers, healthy vegetables. And as those good things grow, they naturally take up all the space, all the sunlight, all the nutrients. And pretty soon, there's just less and less room for the weeds to even survive. The good literally pushes out the bad.
Okay, so that's the theory. It sounds good, but what does this actually look like in real life? Let's get practical. Here are 3 simple but really powerful habits you can start building today, right now, to start crowding out the negative. Think of this as your starter pack for what the source calls good addictions. First up, build your body. Pour your energy into eating well and getting consistent exercise. Second, build your people. Be intentional about spending quality time with good, uplifting people. And third, build your purpose. No matter what your job is, frame it as serving a higher goal. These aren't just random activities. They actively and purposefully fill your life with good stuff.
And that's really the whole idea. This isn't about some magical overnight transformation. It's a slow, steady process of replacement. Every healthy meal, every workout, every positive conversation, it's like planting another flower in the garden and slowly making it a place where weeds just can't grow. Okay, but let's be real for a minute. Even with this new focus, you're still going to have setbacks. You're going to mess up. That's a given. The crucial difference, though, is how you respond when it happens. And this is so important to remember. Perfection was never the point. This whole way of thinking accepts that we're human, and being human means we're imperfect. A mistake isn't a sign that the system is broken, it's an expected part of the journey. That's exactly why forgiveness, for yourself too, is built right into the process. So instead of that downward spiral, here's the new playbook. First, just acknowledge the mistake, but without that brutal inner critic screaming at you. Second, forgive. Let go of the shame. And third, and this is the key, refocus. Get right back to doing good. Don't sit around and wallow in it. Just get back to positive action as soon as you can. And here's this beautiful, kind of unexpected twist. When you learn to respond to failure this way, by acknowledging it, repenting, and reconnecting with your purpose, the mistake itself can become a powerful tool.
it can actually strengthen your commitment and bring you closer to the very thing you're trying to achieve. Failure isn't a detour anymore. It's a compass pointing you back to the right path.
So let's end on this thought. What if you reframed your flaws completely? What if, instead of seeing them as a roadblock, you saw them as a reminder? A little signal to stop fighting the darkness and get back to the work of turning on the light. What could change for you, I wonder, if you started building your good today?